Hello YouTube, welcome to another Counter-Strike Global Offensive Beta commentary gameplay update from Runner with a Gun. Today what you're going to be seeing is some gameplay on the well-known map Dust with the AK-47, and then halfway through it will switch over to some AWP gameplay. So it's just a little bit which I just thrown in, and to be honest there's no new updates other than the previous update, which I can really talk about simply because they haven't updated it yet this week since the previous update. However, in saying that, there is a little thing about the previous update which I didn't mention in the last video, which I feel inclined to mention in this video, which is, well, actually I'll crack on with that in a sec. Before I start, I'm just going to say what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about that one bit which I didn't mention. I'm also going to be answering a couple of questions from the question and answer thing which I unsuccessfully did on the last video. Okay, now I can kind of start if that was some kind of crazy intro. Okay, the update that was added in before had included into it some update to the movement in the game. Now personally, I completely overlooked this. I hardly even noticed fully, but I have noticed that things are a bit more faster movement, particularly comparison between the weapon that you're carrying and how fast you move. I think that's what they mostly did in the update, because I'm feeling so much more faster when I'm running around with my knife than I used to. But of course I haven't got the exact statistics on this, but I do know that Valve was working with some very popular competitive players who play Counter-Strike 1.6 and Source, and they tried to find a matching way to make the movement on Global Offensive at its best. Now, I think it's pretty good myself, you see, because people have been saying it's sluggish, but you can easily play around the sluggishness in the game, in my opinion. But with this update, you know, there's still that bit better element of speed which is just thrown in there, which of course everybody loves. A slow game doesn't exactly appeal to people. Okay, so now I've got that covered. I'm glad I did that, because I think that was like the main theme of the previous update that they planned to throw in. So next up is those questions. Now I didn't actually really receive any questions except for one person who submitted, well, I wouldn't say submitted, but asked quite a few. But somebody else answered them in the comments, which made me sad because I wanted to answer them myself. But I'm going to go through them all. Which, first of all, according to the Steam trailer, this will be cross-platform. Console players will not have a chance unless they use a mouse and keyboard. What do you reckon to this? Now, first of all, I believe that cross-platform support has completely been scratched. I think for a number of reasons this is. First of all being the fact that they'd have to update at the same rate both console and PC, of course, and then you got Xbox and PS3, which means they'd all have to actually steadily update at different rates, as most games do. For example, the new Battlefield patch which came out, there's been a PlayStation patch, a PC patch, which are both kind of different, and then there's been the Xbox patch which hasn't come out yet. Now, the other reason, which is what you mentioned in your question, is the balance between console players and mouse and keyboard players. Now, to be honest, mouse and keyboard players are going to have the better aim. It's inevitable. The only way that console players could have better aim is aim assist, to be honest, which I think I mentioned just a little bit in my first Counter-Strike video, and I didn't really cover it too much, but I thought the easiness, you could say, of Counter-Strike Global Offensive aim is inspired because of the console players, because you will notice the Global Offensive aim is a little bit more easier to work on with the recoil and stuff than the previous Counter-Strikes. But I think the difference in the skill level between console players, not necessarily the skill level, but the disadvantage that console players have, is influenced them not to make it cross-platform. I mean, I can't really speak from a personal opinion, but most competitive players who play Counter-Strike on PC, they're real competitive players. You know, it's not exactly like the console world can jump in really compared to that. It's got nothing to do with who's better. As an overall genuine look, it's just the fact that the competitive players on PC mostly focused around Counter-Strike, in all honesty, which, you know, most people can understand. But I think I lingered on that one quite a long time. So the next question from the same person is: they have been told that it is a Left 4 Dead 2 engine with a question mark. The answer to that is it's not a Left 4 Dead 2 engine, because the Left 4 Dead 2 engine is, I believe, a different version of Source. I can't be certain, but it's definitely a new engine, although apparently, as the person who replied to him said, it is a tweaked Portal 2 engine or something. I think that's what he wrote, so I'm not sure about that. But next question: when is the game released? Now this I cannot be certain about either. My original thoughts was around May, summer kind of area, but I think it may be pushing a little bit more between June and July. I can't be certain about that, but there's still quite a few things I know they want to test in the beta. For example, dedicated servers, not dedicated servers, third-party servers and controls and stuff are coming up next, and that's going to be a main focus. There's also probably some other stuff like many players aren't happy with some things in the game. For example, the colours in the game people aren't really enjoying because it's quite dusty, even on the non-dust maps. Yeah, and there's also other things like that. So I'd suspect around June, maybe July, you can expect this game to be released. How much will it cost? I'm going to have to guess around £30. Of course, it depends on where you're from, of course, because I'm in England, so it's in pounds. Now, the reason why I say this price is because a usual game would cost £30 or £40 or somewhere near there. That's your main games. However, I think because it's a Valve game, they're obviously gonna. I got a feeling like, I think Portal 2, when that came out, that was £30, and I think they're going to go for a similar price of Counter-Strike for two reasons. First of all, it's only multiplayer, which, you know, most people play a shooting game for its multiplayer, but it's got no single player whatsoever. And then you said about, like, firearms mod for Counter-Strike 1.6, you can be deployed from a chopper. Now that isn't true, because when you play on the game, sometimes you have a chopper on some maps, for example Dust, when you're playing Counter-Terrorist, which will drop you in, but there's no animation whatsoever, it's just a chopper which flies away. So I hope that helped. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope these nice questions made this video entertaining. Please be sure to give this video a like, a comment and subscribe if you haven't, it really helps me out. And thank you for watching, and goodbye.